This video was produced by the UCD Math Support Centre in conjunction with the UCD Access Centre. Standard deviation is a measure of variability or spread. It measures how far the data on average is from the mean. Standard deviation is represented by the Greek letter sigma. A standard deviation of 0 indicates that all numbers in a dataset are the same. As the standard deviation increases in size, the numbers in the dataset become more spread out or further from the mean. The standard deviation formula is given by the square root of the sum of each element in the dataset less the mean to be squared divided by the number of numbers or the number of values in the dataset. We'll run through an example of this in a minute. In this formula, the sum of means we'll sum across all values. Xi represents each element in our dataset. X bar is the mean of our dataset. And n is the number of numbers or number of values in our dataset. The Leaving Certificate requires each student to be able to calculate the standard deviation on their calculator. As each student has a different make and model of calculator, I will not be doing this. I recommend Googling your calculator's make and model and standard deviation to find out how to calculate the standard deviation on your calculator. Let's try a standard deviation problem. A maths class had a test and the scores out of 10 were 2, 6, 6, 9 and 10. Find the standard deviation of these results. For the standard deviation formula, we need the mean of the dataset. So to calculate the mean, we add up all the numbers, 2 plus 6 plus 6 plus 9 plus 10, and we divide by the number of numbers, in this case 5. And we get an answer of 33 over 5 or 6.6. For further detail on how to get the mean of a group of numbers, please see the video entitled Mean. So now we know our mean, x bar, is equal to 6.6. The best way of working through our standard deviation formula is working from the inside of our brackets and then continuing out. So to start with, we're going to list our x values. So in this case, our x values are 2, 6, 6, 9, and 10. Going back to our formula, it says x minus the mean. So the next thing we want to do is go x minus x bar. 2 minus 6.6, 6 minus 6.6, and all the way down. When we do this, we get the calculation of minus 4.6, minus 0.6, minus 0.6, 2.4, and 3.4. Going back to our formula, we can see that x minus x bar has to be squared. So the next stage for us is squaring our x minus x bar. Working down the root, it's minus 4.6 squared, which will give us 21.16 when we multiply minus 4.6 by minus 4.6. minus 0.6 squared will give us 0.36. Minus 0.6 multiplied by minus 0.6 will give us 0.36. 2.4 squared is 5.76 and 3.4 squared is 11.56. Now we go back to the formula and we see the next stage is to sum x minus x bar squared. By this I mean we are going to add up our values between 21.16 and 11.56 here. When we add all of these values together, we get an answer of 39.2. If we fill into our formula now, we have the standard deviation is equal to the square root of 39.2 divided by n, where n is the number of numbers, in this case 5. If we divide 39.2 by 5, we get an answer of 7.84. So standard deviation is the square root of 7.84, which is 2.8. The best way to work through a standard deviation question is to write down your formula and work from the inside of the bracket out. I find it helps when you do an ordered layout for this. That concludes the standard deviation slides.